arrow.
The little embossed arrow. It's black, so it doesn't have any contrast. You can't see it. So I just took a gray Sharpie and put it on both the transducer and on the plug. I recommend putting silicone grease on these O-rings every single time you take this thing in and out. There's two nuts on the through hull. It's a 3-piece through hull. There's the piece of plastic that's glued to the boat, which is the biggest. There's a sleeve that goes in it. The sleeve has like a one-way valve, a check valve to prevent the water from just spraying in. And then there's the third piece, which is either the plug or the transducer. You know, what you want to do when you put the transducer in, obviously you put the grease on the O-rings every single time. You slide the plug out, you slide the transducer in, and I put it in at an oblique angle, like maybe pointing off to the left or right by 20 or 30 degrees. Push it down as far as you can, tighten the nut a little bit so you get the nut finger tight, then back the nut off like a quarter of a turn. While pressing down on it with your thumb, turn it till it lines up till straight, and you'll feel and hear it click into its keyway, just like that. So now it's in its keyway, and then you just take the little nut, you just go finger tight on it. You don't have to go super tight, just give it a little finger tight. And that's really it. You never want to loosen this big nut. The big nut holds the sleeve into the through hull fitting, and the sleeve is keyed. So if you rotate the sleeve and don't realize it, and then point this thing forward, it's possible that the transducer is not in its keyway, which means it's going to be retracted by 2 or 3 millimeters, and it's going to read slow all the time. And that's
so did you say that the transducer, when it drops into that sleeve on the master thing, that needs to be straight too? So maybe that's what my problem.
You know, right now I would say it's pointed a little bit towards the starboard side. Just from looking at it, my eye says, you know, it might be pointed slightly towards the starboard.
So you have to loosen the big nut and straighten it.
Exactly. So what you do is you loosen the big nut, and I usually get some channel locks and grab this piece right here and rotate it. I usually do it on the
that's how you turn it?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's hard to turn. You might be able to turn it with this, you know, thing right here, but it's hard to get a lot of leverage. If you got some channel locks, you get way more leverage, and you can get way more precise with it. Bat and poker device, and holding it up against the housing, just to give me some perspective on whether it's straight or not. You know, it kind of gives it a longer, you know, lever arm to look at. And I'm thinking it's definitely pointed a little bit towards the starboard side.
Yeah.
So I'm going to loosen this big nut. I'm going to grab onto this with some pliers, and I'm just going to rotate it slightly to the left. What do you think, Tim? Is it still off a little bit? You guys got a better perspective than me.
It looks like it still is off.
Still slightly starboard.
Is that?
Looks pretty good from here.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty good too.
Okay, and we're just going to tighten this down. And we just go hand tight on this. Sometimes I just kind of bang on it a little bit to get it down. It helps if you push down kind of hard on it and then turn the nut and then push down. Lesson complete.